So a lot of people have probably noticed there hasn't really been much activity on my YouTube channel of late. Life's just kind of been a bit busy, and I've been kind of feeling like I lost my mojo a bit for making videos, but I did realise the other day that my next upload, which will be this one, is actually my 100th video. Not much of a milestone, but it's something anyway. So just for something a little bit different, I thought I'd upload some gearbox porn. I finally bit the bullet and got something done about a stronger gearbox, because to many people's amazement, in all the years I've run modified engines in this car, I've only ever had completely stock transmissions in it, and they're not even anything special. The one that's in there now is actually a mystery lucky dip gearbox I bought off eBay for $25. Amazingly, it was actually drives like new. It was out of a Type 3 that was wrecked over 20 years ago and must have been fairly low mileage. Anyway, that one there is actually the factory original gearbox to this car. Poor thing's done over 500,000 kilometres, and I've actually yet to break a gearbox, but that one there, I did have it freshened up when I first bought the car over 14 years ago, because reverse gear was noisy in it, and I tipped it over the edge a bit more by working on my reverse 180J turns. So it was pulled down, and it wasn't even rebuilt. It was just had a second-hand reverse gear put in and a bunch of new bearings. And amazingly, it's held together all that time. And I figured sooner or later something's got to give, but it continues to surprise me. I did look around at going for a Rancho box, but decided to have one built for me instead. I had one of the Australian VW drag racers who just really knows his shit with gearboxes build it for me. My last video I uploaded with the Warwick drags, many of the cars running in that have got gearboxes built by him. And even in his own drag car, at one point in time, he had a gearbox similar specs to this one here, and he was running 10s with it, so I'm pretty confident this will handle everything I throw at it. So Volkswagen made a fair lot of changes to the Beetle gearbox in '73. Most of them were good, but a couple of them were actually a step backwards. Well, for anything other than stock. So I'm pretty lucky that my gearbox is one of the strongest to start with, but there's certainly a lot of room for improvement. I don't have the spec sheet in front of me for all the stuff that's been done to this, but just some of the stuff off the top of my head I know it's done is I had the super diff fitted with the billet side plate and all the associated spider gears and other rotating voodoo shit that spins around in there. It's got the solid Albin spacer for the third and fourth gear shaft thingy there. It's got the solid metal spacer in there too, just to help keep that main shaft seated. All the bearings were replaced with the metal cage ones, because all the stock ones are just plastic. It's had all the rod bores and that sleeved, and some of the bearing seats and that are all sleeved as well. I think something was done with the keys that locate all the gears. Pretty lucky that it's already got the bigger clutch arm and fork in it, but he did weld that for extra strength, and the bushing there was replaced with a brass one. So yeah, these late models I've already got the stronger nose cone on them. I think that's all I can think of at the moment. But one of the main changes I wanted to do was alter the gearing in it. Subarus like to cruise at a bit lower RPM than a Volkswagen motor does. With V-dubs, it's really critical to keep the revs right, so the cooling fan speed is spot on for the load on the engine, but once you put a Subaru in there, it's revving a bit higher than it needs to. So I've had the gearing changed a bit, mainly third and fourth gear, which was one of the weak spots of these later gearboxes. They have got the stronger 3.88 ring and pinion, but completely let down by the fine tooth 093 fourth gear, which is usually the first thing that breaks with these gearboxes. So what's been done is the stronger coarse tooth third and fourth gear from a bus or combi gearbox has been fitted. So they're stronger to start with, but it will also improve my RPMs at cruising speed. With the stock gearing and these size tyres that I'm running now, was turning a bit over $3,000 at 100, sort of closer to 3.1 at 100 kilometres an hour, or about 62 miles per hour, whereas with this new gearing that'll get it back down to about 2.8, which is what a stock Subi 5-speed would be doing. So that's about the gist of what I've had done with the gearbox. And a lot of people wonder why I didn't go the Subaru Gears setup. Now for those who haven't heard of it, a guy here in Australia has come up with the Subaru Gears conversion, which allows the use of a 5-speed Subaru gearbox to be used in a Volkswagen. And it's actually a really brilliant idea. Todd's done a great job with what he's come up with. And if I was starting from scratch, that is definitely the way I'd go. But because this is an existing conversion, it creates a lot of headaches and re-engineering required. And there's also the cost. By the time I chase up a gearbox, get all the associated parts needed and machining done, put together, or buy one from him already converted, I'm going to end up at double the price that one's cost me. And that one there will still end up just as strong, and the gearing is the same now anyway, just one less gear got to go through. The problem with the Subaru gearbox is the two output shafts are a lot lower than a V-dub gearbox, and to keep them clear of the chassis forks of the Beetle chassis means lifting the engine, unfortunately, and it takes lifting it over 2 inches to get it to clear, and that creates a lot of problems for this particular car because it's already set up to sit in the existing Volkswagen position. So where I'd get problems is my air conditioning pulley would then hit on my deck lid, my throttle body would hit on the deck lid spring, my intake there wouldn't fit anymore, it would all hit on the body. Can't really see it, but my air conditioning hoses would have nowhere to go through. Same with the out coolant hose. And also the firewall needs a little bit of trimming to get it to fit. As it is now, it's completely untouched. And then there's the exhaust. By lifting the engine 2 inches means my exhaust where it runs under the gearbox would no longer fit. So I'd have to redo all that. And just lots of little niggly stuff like wiring and throttle cables, that sort of thing. So that was the main reason I didn't go the Subaru gearbox. because if I was starting from scratch, I certainly would. They're very easy to get here in Australia. Subarus are extremely common. There's one literally 2 minutes walk down the road for $400 with a good engine and transmission. There's deals like that everywhere. Now they're getting a bit of age about them. So the Subi motor isn't really much different to remove to a Volkswagen engine. Just got to drain the green stuff out, and all the electrical is just a couple of modular plugs, nice and simple, and the air conditioning compressor just unbolts and hangs there to save degassing it. But here's a good example of how I haven't had to modify the body of the car to fit the motor. You can see all the original Volkswagen seal channel is all still there and untouched. Got no firewall modifications. All I've done is drilled out the spot welds that hold the apron on, which is something I'd do on a stock car anyway. Removable aprons just make life so much easier. Anyway, it looks like my mystery lucky dip gearbox is not liking being pushed back into service after a 20-year rest. Would appear the input shaft seal's leaking oil a bit, which is kind of to be expected, but you get that. I was amazed by this gearbox. It just drives so beautifully. Probably a little old grandma's Type 3 that it came out of, I would say. Anyway, well, the good thing about modern engines is they have lifting points on them, and they just balance so well. Makes it really easy to hoist them up on a chain block and work on them. I had to do a bit of welding to my sump. The downsides of a lowered car. I've done a lot of scraping on it over the years and finally got a hairline crack, but no matter. That's life, I guess. And here's something else I often get asked about, the starter motor. This is actually a stock Nip and Denso, not that you can read the sticker anymore, starter motor from a EJ22 Liberty or Legacy. And there's a guy in Australia here, and he makes up these flanges so they bolt to the VW gearbox, and also a new pinion gear so that they mesh with the Volkswagen flywheel. They're actually designed to be used with a Volkswagen engine. It's just a better alternative to the aftermarket high torque starter motors, because the quality on most of them is atrocious, whereas this is Japanese factory OEM quality, so you won't get much better than that. And best of all, they're cheap as chips. You can usually pick them up at the wreckers for $50 or so and just shove the kit in, or you can buy them complete ready to bolt in. You just got to make sure to get the right model. It's out of the automatic Subaru. The manual ones throw is too long or too short or some crap like that.